I just want to state before this video starts that this video is made with the sole purpose of glazing Virtua Fighter for bringing in a new protag that's just a breath of fresh air. And sadly, to put down Luke, a character that I really enjoy. I think he's a great character, keyword character. Just a horrible protagonist. The way he was brought in and written is kinda garbage. Virtua Fighter is putting itself in a brand new fresh coat of paint, selling you a new protagonist called Cielo, who looks fantastic, very fun fighting style using Valley Tudo, I believe. In this current location, there's a lot of life, there's a lot of feel. Again, I'm not going to say it because I'm going to mess it up, it will be on screen. But Cielo is replacing Akira, which is a huge deal, as Akira is the granddaddy of main protags in 3D fighters. He was the first one. But Cielo is looking to do a fantastic job with this coat of fresh paint, so I'm looking forward to everything that's going to be done. In today's video, we'll be comparing Luke and Cielo as protagonists. Not really a put down Luke. I like Luke, but unfortunately he's just not a good protagonist. He was brought in a horrible way, and Cielo, with the short amount of time we've seen him, has had such an impact on me already. Before we even start talking about Cielo, I'm just going to show you a clip in its entirety, no speaking, no commentary, just to show you how much of an impact Virtua Fighter Crossroads has had on me. This small cutscene is genuinely beautiful. The world is so very vibrant where he is, it's beautiful, and in this mural on the wall, showing respect to the classic characters, the ones that really sold the legacy of Virtua Fighter. You recognize these characters and you understand it's Virtua Fighter. And you know what I love about it even more? Cielo is engaging with this mural. He's shadowboxing with these legends. He understands their key moves, how they hit, how they attack, because he respects them and he's passionate about fighting. So he looks towards these guys as idols, if I had to assume. It shows how much passion he has. He's able to see these characters so vividly and literally train with them, ducking their attacks, jumping over them, looking forward to the next character. And then he gets to the last one, Akira, the old protagonist, staring him down as they both prepare for a strike. And in this exchange, nobody takes damage, nobody takes a hit, but you know what has been exchanged? The torch. In a literal sense, it symbolizes the passing of the torch. Akira striking through to give it Cielo, as Cielo continues on, but still showing respect to the characters that got him here. It shows how passionate he is and how much he loves fighting. Again, if he's able to look at these guys and just envision them and not having any experience fighting them, shows he loves this. The other thing I like about him as a protag is that he talks to other characters. He actually vibes and sits with them, talking to other characters, starting to understand their social lives. He's a vibey guy. He also doesn't mind getting his hands dirty, as we see when he messes with the Chinese triad. Again, we don't know a whole lot about his story. We're gonna have to wait until it comes out, but it looks fantastic from the small amount that we've seen. It is literally in Sega's court to not mess this up. Stranger Than Heaven's been kind of ruined for me since they threw in 2-pack without the family's real consent. And also Crazy Taxi probably having AI generated content, so that's awesome. And of course Yakuza Kiwami 3. Again, Sega, don't mess this up. Sega, this is fine, just don't throw in something random and bullshit to ruin the vibes. Please, it's fine. The last time I saw a protagonist done as well as this was probably Jin Kazama. Jin Kazama was brought in for Tekken 3, Tekken 4. Suited the game's aesthetics, became his own character, and really pulled you in for that storyline. It's a shame that in Tekken 6 they turned him into an irredeemable monster by starting World War III, and then in Tekken 8, fucking trying to redeem him, even though in my mind I'm in Miguel's boat. He deserves death. He doesn't deserve to live. He's genuinely done some evil shit. You can't be forgiven for World War III. Sadly, we need to go on to our next protagonist. And I don't even think you'd know if he was a protagonist if he was brought into Street Fighter 6. And that's Luke. Now, what is the main thing that already tells you that this isn't a really good protagonist? He was even introduced in his own game. He was introduced in Street Fighter 5 as DLC. He was literally told to you from the developers this was your new protagonist, and he's here and he's speaking a whole lot of gamer lingo and all that stuff like game over man and all that type of shit, and you can't take it seriously. It feels like a parody, like they're doing the whole thing, oh we need to appeal to Western markets, throw a look at you, and he doesn't pull you in. And when you first see Luke in Street Fighter 5, you think, who the hell is this chud? And he's the new protag? It was so odd, and because he was a top tier, you'd see Luke in every tournament. He was just that strong of a character, so Luke being brought in through this way is baffling and very, very silly. I don't even think you would know he was a protagonist unless this was done. In Street Fighter 6, Luke isn't even the main protag. You are. You're the main protag. So Luke takes a backseat in his own game to let you be the protagonist. Luke throughout it is not really involved in the main story. He's just there to teach you up and train you in his fighting style, and that's about it. Luke doesn't get involved with the big bad story. Luke doesn't get any form of resolution, and Luke doesn't really do anything. The World Tour was made specifically for you. Find all these different masters, find out a bit more of them as a character, and to continue on to the next guy. And Luke, despite the fact that he's a fun character, doesn't get to do anything in this role. The only thing he does is train you up at the start of the game, and then that's it. Everything afterwards is all optional. World Tour is a fantastic mode. I do think it's pretty good. However, one caveat is just turning Luke into a shooter that doesn't do anything. A protagonist needs to be involved in the main story and needs to deal with some type of problem or antagonist. Luke doesn't do that. And it's funny because even in previous games where again you've got different protags and all that stuff, they're still dealing with a problem. Alex had to deal with the Illuminati, Gail had to deal with Bison, Ryu and Alpha had to deal with Bison alongside Gail and Ken. In Street Fighter 4, it's Abel trying to find himself by dealing with Seth, and Ryu was also there to help alongside with Gail. Street Fighter 5 is dealing with Bison, and Ryu's back to being the main protag, despite the fact it was supposed to be Rashid, but at least Rashid is doing something in the story. And then Street Fighter 6 comes along with JP and all the evil shit he's trying to bring about. We're not doing anything. Luke is sat in the sidelines, despite the fact the game's main theming is that I'm not on the sidelines. Ah, irony. The best thing that comes out of Luke's story is his rivalry with Jamie. If you do his arcade mode, you'll start a beef with Jamie, and it's really enjoyable, but like, it's not... You haven't set up anything for Luke to deal with an antagonist or a big bad guy. I mean, like... what does he do? Like, look, I love his character specific stuff, like getting to talk to him, understand who he is as a character, but his backstory is kind of bland, being a military man that just wants to be like his pa, and then being all like, nah, I want to do training instead. It's like, he's great, he's a fun, enjoyable character, he's just not a protagonist. And I think Street Fighter 5 brought him in as DLC so you could be all like, oh, he is the protagonist. And they put him on the cover because he's the protagonist. But he doesn't do anything. Again, you could argue that other characters are the protagonist because they do just as amount as Luke does. You could say Ryu is still the protag, you could say Gail is still the protag, you could say Rashid is still the protag, because they do just as amount as Luke does in his game. It feels like he lacks any representation in the story, and he doesn't really have any respect for the OGs because they're still there. Right, they're still there, they're still involved with the story, kind of like how Akira is, but to a very minor degree in Virtua Fighter. And they started the story in a different game that isn't his game. Mind-boggling. Capcom are not good at writing stories unless it's a horror game or some type of like story mode game. If it's a fighting game, their writing team is genuinely awful. I'm not even gonna lie. What they did to Alex was abhorrent. Luke getting put in the sidelines is also quite disgusting. Street Fighter 5 as a product was awful. Like, they're not built for fighting game stories. They really aren't. I kind of wish they'd put on a different writer, because it's not good. It genuinely isn't good. In the end, Cielo is looking like a fantastic new character to be brought into the world of Virtua Fighter. And Luke, who was about to be that, didn't do anything in his own story. Cielo has absolutely nailed being brought in as a new protag to a fighting game, while still respecting the classics, the OGs and all that stuff, putting it in this new world. So I'm looking forward to Virtua Fighter. It's in Sega's core to not mess it up. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, hype, sub, and tell me what you think. Do you think Celio's going to be a good protag? Do you think Sega's going to mess it up? Or do you think I was a bit too harsh on Lookie Boy? Love to hear what you'd say, and that's going to be me peacing out, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!